Yeah, that's a good start.
When they said hemorrhagic,
When you go over there on Jeff Davis, that, no,
it's not a good term.
I don't know what they closed up over there on Commerce Road.
I called to order the February 10th, 2025 regular meeting of the Crewe Town Council. Let us begin with a moment of silence for John Work and his family. Father God, tonight we come before you with heavy hearts as one of our leaders and our friends is facing serious health challenges. We ask that you touch John with your healing power and comfort his family in the days to come. We ask that you direct our meeting tonight according to your will. Amen. Amen. Let us stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we have the minutes from the January 13th, 2025 meeting, and also for the January 25th, 2025 work session meetings. Has council had an opportunity to review the minutes? Are there any additions to the agenda or edits to the minutes?
No.
Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. All righty, public comments. Does anybody have anything they want to share? I guess not. Okay, we'll move on. Review of bills. Does council have any comments, questions, or concerns about the bill sheets? No? Okay. Staff report. Police report?
It's in your packet.
Yeah.
You just had it there? Okay. I didn't see a policeman, so.
No, it should be in there.
Yeah,
No, I
it's
meant
in
a
there.
person.
Oh, okay, I see. Right.
Town manager's report.
Yep, sorry, getting to that. Apparently this bill sheet's very long.
Yeah.
Here we go. So, the water issue is progressing. We hit a bit of a snag in the General Assembly with, but that's outlined in there. But we are working through that, and Delegate Ware and Senator Mulcahy are working hard, and so is Julia and Eric. And we're going to work through the slight snag, and hopefully that will all work out here soon. Annual report. I hope to have a copy of that, but things got hectic at the end of last week, so I couldn't finish putting that together. Summer interns, the ad is in your under information, so feel free to pass that along to anyone you'd like. And that is it. Questions?
Okay. All right. Okay, I don't have anything. Town attorney report?
Nothing to add beyond what the town manager also already reported on the legislation and particularly the state budget, which is in flux right now. Been in contact with your lobbyist and been in coordination with your town manager and legislators, and so we'll continue to monitor that and advocate on the town's behalf as best as we can.
You okay?
Questions if I can.
Thank you. Let's move on. Committee reports. Finance Committee, Councilman Davis.
Nothing at this time, other than the town manager has placed in your packet kind of a guideline with some dates for when we'll start the budget process for this year.
Mm-hmm.
So it looked like based on that, he'll do his work, and then Ann and I will kind of go through that and make sure there's nothing glaring, and then it'll be brought to you guys to go through. And I think we'll have a special meeting at some point specifically on the budget, correct?
Yes, during some of our work sessions, and
Yeah.
all that calendar is in your budget.
Yeah,
Or all
so
that.
that's it.
Okay, thank you. Personnel Committee, Vice Mayor Stenson.
Nothing tonight.
Okay. Community Development Committee. Plans for homecoming are moving forward. We had a meeting, we sent out the flyer. We've had quite a few responses, and we did have a meeting about fireworks the other day, so I guess we'll address that a little bit later. And that's about it for right now. Infrastructure Committee, Councilman Stith? Stanley?
He was thinking, I didn't even know I was on this.
I guess Councilman Stith doesn't have anything today. Economic Development Committee.
That's her job. She the mayor, she put you on it. You get me in trouble like I'm supposed to.
Me and you own it together.
We announced it last month. We did.
People on this here can have this, should have been a whole one.
There ain't but two of us. We can't be on every committee.
Okay, Economic Development Committee, Town Manager.
The county EDC had their quarterly meeting last weekish, or a couple weeks ago. I presented the county economic development strategic plan, which I can make copies of that if anyone wants to see that. That took a couple years to draft, given that it's quarterly meetings now. There was also some significant discussion about the courthouse at that meeting, where we presented the town's position that we would certainly advocate for it in Crewe, and we do advocate for it in Crewe. But the bottom line is what we most advocate for, and what's most important, is an objective analysis of all of the options. So the county should gather all the information, and all the information is, what are the options? Well, first, what are the goals? Then what are the options? What is the data associated with each option? So how much would each one cost? How much economic impact each option would have? All of that information, and then using that data, make a objective decision based on that information, and not knee-jerk reaction. We're going to eliminate this offhand without doing. So anyway, that's the town's position, and it is much more clearly said in that editorial that's in your packets.
Yes, that was very good.
Thank you. Any questions on county EDC? Okay.
Planning Commission, Town Manager.
Nothing this time.
Water Committee, Councilman Davis.
Well, no.
No? Okay. We are just moving right along. New business, 11A, CY 2025 goals.
Okay, so council met for their strategic planning session a few weeks ago, and this is the result. There are the 2025 strategic objectives and goals. Objective 1, improve and maintain infrastructure. Objective 2, drive downtown revitalization. Objective 3, reduce blight. 4 is enhance civic engagement in community events. Then strengthen financial health. Number 6, advance town planning. Number 7, improve public works efficiency. Number 8, strengthen public safety. Number 9, support and develop staff. Each one has various strategies associated with it, things that we all discussed during that strategic planning session. So that's what we'll, assuming council agrees to it, that's what we'll use as our baseline for moving forward this year. So then I would ask that the council, the question before council is, shall council adopt the strategic goals as presented? Your options are to adopt the strategic goals as presented, amend the strategic goals, or do nothing. Staff recommends option A, and there are suggested motions there for you.
Go ahead, Ann.
I move that we accept the objectives and goals as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm sorry, were there any questions about any of those?
Oh,
Yes, I did forget to ask that.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, the motion carries. 11B, vacant building registration.
Okay, this is something that that previous councils have talked about in the past. And at that time, you had to have your name, your town's name included specifically in the Code of Virginia. Since then, the General Assembly has made it a blanket a policy where a locality can adopt an ordinance for vacant building registration. And basically what that does is, so if a building's been vacant for a continuous period of 12 months or more, and the building meets the definition of derelict building, or criminal blight, or in which a locality has determined a person is living without the authority of the owner of the building, the locality can adopt an ordinance that would require the owner or owners to register such building on an annual basis and may impose an annual registration fee not to exceed $100 to defray the cost of proceedings and of processing such registration. Be filed with the locality. Failure to register is a $200 civil penalty. Unless it's in a conservation or rehab district, in which case it ups it to up to a $400 penalty. We would the town would mail out notices to the owners of these buildings if council were to adopt this ordinance. So the questions before council are: shall council adopt the vacant building registration ordinance? Is first question. Second question: if so, what shall the annual registration fee be set at? And then what shall the civil penalty for failure to register in a conservation rehab blight area be set at? I'm not asking for anything tonight, since it does require an ordinance that we'd have to draft. Just putting it out there for discussion and seeing if there's preliminary agreement on those three, so we know how to draft the ordinance.
I have a question.
Sure.
Other than collecting the fees, maybe, call me a cynic, if their building's derelict, are they even going to pay attention to any of this?
Well, if not, then we do collect the up to, well, it is a $200 civil penalty if they don't do that, and then it could be up to $400 for a. So one would assume that they do pay attention to those letters if they receive them.
Okay.
So to add on to Ann's question, and I see where your way of thinking is, and so I guess I have a couple questions. One, and I'm for this. Let's be clear about that.
Yeah, I am too.
Because I want to see more done and more things for us. One, what are we going to use this for? The civil penalty in the broader scheme of things, I don't know. It doesn't say, the code section doesn't say how often that can be leveled. Certainly if I owned a building that it was going to cost me several thousands of dollars to do something with, and all I had to pay was a $200 civil penalty to the town, I'm going to take the civil penalty to the town.
So, just taking your questions one at a time, the civil penalty to the the civil penalty is just for failure to register your building. They would still have to do something to if we declare it blighted, they'd still have to do something to do that or to remediate.
So I'm scrolling back down. Did we have one on? We don't have a current code right now on blighted, correct?
There are several blight-related things in your packet. Some of them, spot blight is already in the code. We can already do that. That does not require another ordinance. And there's the criminal blight, which I believe does require an additional ordinance.
So to clarify, we have this ordinance in place. We all agree to it. We think that it's necessary. We hit them with the civil penalty because they failed to register. But nothing in that until we still get to the point where we've got to define it as blight under whoever's authority and decision that is. Where does this become useful if we've already got the blight
So
in place?
Going back to Ann's point, an individual can have a building, it could sit vacant, and they can just forget about it. If they then have to, register the building each year and pay $100 each year for this blighted building that they just sit there and it just sits there and they don't think about, it makes them think about it a little bit more.
Okay.
So that's one thing. Second thing is it provides us a comprehensive list of buildings that we think are blighted and are vacant, and we can then start to pursue.
Okay. So this, your blight, both your spot blight and your criminal blight, are going to work together in tandem to give the town more leverage, if I'm understanding correctly, and I'm good with that.
Right. Tools is probably a better term, but yes.
I don't see tools, but
And again, what kind of vacant building would need to be registered?
It would be one that meets the definition of derelict building, which the definition I included on there. One that meets the definition of criminal blight, which is also included on there. Or one where someone is living without the authority of the owner of the building.
Okay.
all right. So let me wrap it up for me. You're going to come back. We are tonight saying that we agree in theory with these things, and then you're going to come back with a policy at some point that takes into consideration the state code, because that's pretty vague too, and with more specifics about how we as a town want to address this. Because I know like Blackstone has got, when they're looking at spot blight, their general rule is the building sealed or is it open? That's one of the things that they look at is there damage, physical damage to the building, and if so, that kind of drives them. So I'm okay with this theoretically, and then would love to see what the policy, the ordinance actually with specifics looks like down the road.
Sure. Okay. Any other questions?
And that's for all three of those. That's for your spot blight, your criminal blight, and your. I'm just wrapping mine up to make it quicker.
Yeah.
Sure. So, what for the second question there? What does council want the annual registration fee to be set at? It could be up to $100.
Well, we don't want it to be so little that it's insignificant.
I was gonna say 100.
That's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
The blue bills make you think a little bit harder.
Perfect. And then the final question is if it's for failure to register in a conservation, rehabilitation, or blighted area, what should the civil penalty be set at? It could be up to $400.
Multiple blue bills make you think even more.
And that's very
So
true.
400?
400.
400 it is.
So, where are our conservation and rehabilitation districts in town?
I don't believe we have any
Yet.
yet. And then
So as part of this process, we'll have to define that, correct? Before you talk
well,
about.
there is a specific definition for that, but then there's also, I'm trying to remember what the
That's okay.
Like-
You work on that and.
yep. Or in other areas designated as blighted pursuant to. So if it's if we designate an area as blighted, the registration fee would be 400, or penalty would be 400. Okay. Perfect. Then historic district is item 11C in your packet.
Is there a motion on, the-
I don't believe, no motions needed, I just needed a consensus from council, so we can draft it, and then we can let more people know so they know to come out for an ordinance. Item 11C, as part of downtown revitalization, council may want to consider establishing a local historic overlay district to reflect the state and federal historic commercial district. This would allow officials to have more control over the preservation and appearance of downtown. It would also open the door for additional incentives for property owners. I list out all the everything that's in state code there. Basically, it provides more of that, but then we have to do a few more bureaucratic things, set up a review board and such. So the question is, shall council establish a historic district? And just like with the previous one, I'm not looking for an actual motion tonight, just some preliminary discussion and some guidance. And then I can work with the town attorney on drafting the ordinance and figuring out exactly what the process is for this. I think it would have to go to the planning commission, Eric?
Historic district, probably so.
Okay.
I haven't looked at the code sections governing that.
So is this the tool that we'll use to kind of bring people to the right frame of mind for what we want our downtown to look like and be able to establish those guidelines of, everything so that everybody's kind of conforming? Is this the tool we use for that?
So it would govern future actions. We can't go back and say, well, we don't like the way this looks, so we're establishing this policy. So it would govern future actions, and it would also, I think, help us set up standards for if we were to receive this DHCD grant that we're applying for, the facade grant. It would help us establish the process and some rules for receiving those funds.
Do you think that having this in place will help us as it applies to those grants and the funds that are out there? Will it?
It certainly can't hurt. And
Okay.
it should, especially since it's showing that council is making a forward-leaning. Is forward-leaning in.
Well, we already did what was the last thing we did with the historic?
Yeah, we have a historic
So we just got the
designation.
state and federal designations.
So it would only make sense that if we went to the trouble of getting that and going through that process, that this would be the next logical step, right?
Correct.
Right.
So I preliminarily agree with the town manager on establishing a district.
Other thoughts, questions?
I agree.
Okay, excellent. So I will work with Eric on that. Item.
So
go ahead.
criminal and spot we've already talked about. Do you want to?
So criminal blight abatement. No motion is going to be needed for this one. This is because this is all. Okay, no, I will need to work with Eric on drafting an ordinance on this. But the Code of Virginia allows localities to adopt an ordinance to allow for criminal blight enforcement. Criminal blight is defined as a condition existing on real property that endangers the public health or safety of residents of a locality and is caused by drugs, commercial sex acts, or criminal use of criminal discharge of a firearm.
So the important word that I see in there is the word regular. Regular presence, regular use. Just to be clear, this is not something that we can arbitrarily,
Correct.
or the police chief and his staff can arbitrarily do. There would need to be some factual basis, some historical basis to say that this is going on. So I'd be in favor of that once we establish what those ground rules are going to be and what it takes to do that. I mean, one of the things we hear all the time on all three of these, dilapidated buildings, drug activity in the neighborhoods, and those kind of things. So yeah, I mean, if we're going to do what they want us to do, then I'm a desk.
Okay. Other thoughts? Okay, I will work with the town attorney on that one as well. And finally,
Spot blight.
spot blight abatement. This again goes to our, trying to abate blight as much as possible. This allows us to enforce spot blight abatement. Blighted property means any individual, commercial, industrial, or residential structure or improvement that endangers the public's health, safety, or welfare because of the structure or improvement upon the property is dilapidated, deteriorated, or violates minimum health and safety standards, or any structure or improvement previously designated as blighted.
Okay.
And there's a process listed in there for abatement, and it's specific notification and giving them an opportunity, giving the owners an opportunity to present a plan, and then working with us. Or if they don't do that, then we take the next step.
So to clarify for myself, this is stronger than just what we're using now with the building inspector. This is stronger, I'm assuming. That's the purpose in doing it. But will there also have to be the same criteria that the building inspectors, I mean, because now it's a dangerous building is what we, is the guideline. So this is stronger than that?
It is broader, I believe.
Lawyer says it's stronger than that.
Right, okay.
So broader is a fair characterization, I believe.
So
In addition to requiring the remediation of the building, the damage, the state of the building, you can also, the town can acquire it, and then make the repairs itself, and then charge the cost of those repairs to the property owner.
okay.
It's too early in the year for this. That flag,
What you
I'm
got,
sorry.
flag?
No, I like that. It's a stronger position for the town. I think it does still fly into or go along with your previous plans to try to get some staff trained on what is it. So this would allow us, if the windows were falling out of the building, where it's not necessarily dangerous, it's just not up to par, then we could take action to put the owner on notice and make them fix the windows, the roof, the front porch, things that don't necessarily rise to the level of dangerous. Is that correct?
As long as it rises to the level of blight.
Okay. Yep, I'm good with that too.
Perfect. And I think.
Then we have planning commission appointment.
Right. So I believe Beth Robertson moved out of town. So council will need to fill her her term. So if by next meeting you can talk to a few individuals, see if one of them would like to serve on the planning commission. Come to council with some names, or send them to me beforehand, and I'll send them out to everyone. And just let them know that they would have to fill out the same statement of economic interest form.
Okay. Is that all on
Any
that?
questions on that? Okay.
Okay, moving on to fireworks.
Okay, I just got this today, so let me
Oh.
send a few. I don't know if I have enough copies for everyone, but we'll find out. So Kissy has been working with
We can share.
Brenda and
Chris.
Chris Page on looking at fireworks for this coming fireworks season. And basically, this is what Chris Page with the Boston Chamber has sent us. Essentially, the go to the right side. The budget is fireworks are about $12,810, which is an increase from $3,000 from last year. Marketing is they have 2,500. Fire marshals are 1,000. Porta-johns are 1,000. Miscellaneous is $350, and then there was a $200 fee for something that I can't remember off the top of my head.
Well, it was, let me see, it was $300 for the fire marshal, and then $150 an hour for him being there, which he had to be there 3 hours plus. So that's where the $1,000 came from.
Yeah.
200 doesn't even ring a bell to what we
I-
talked about, so I don't know.
I totally forgot what Kissy sent me in an email today, but just add another 200 to that total, so it'd be $17,860 total. Now, this is going to be a little bit what Blackstone Chamber is proposing is a little bit different than last year. Council will recall last year they said, well, we want to do this and we want to do it in Crewe, so we'll go ahead and do this, and we'll raise funds, and Crewe can just be there. Though we did pay for the porta johns last year and such. This year, because apparently the Blackstone Chamber did not break even last year, they would like us. Well, they present two options. The first is to whereby we would be a sponsor. They're saying for $7,000, and they would also charge for parking at the at our lot, and keep that for their end. The Nottaway County permit fee of $300, and they would also generate vendor income, which looks like they would keep for themselves.
Can I say something about
Please.
that? Yeah. So Chris was saying in the meeting that we could either come together with them. He said we would have to give them between $5,000 and $7,000, and they would raise the rest. One of the problems is that we have to book the guy with the fireworks, and we've already lost the 4th and the 3rd. So we're trying to go for the same day, which is the 1st. So he has to have half of the fireworks cost in order for us to book him. So Chris had said that could be between $5,000 and $7,000 if we wanted to give to them. Now, he had originally said the marketing was going to be $4,000, but we talked him down because we can do a lot of it, a whole lot of it with ourselves and not have to pay that. Let me see. I had brought up paying for parking at $5 a car. I don't think anywhere you can go see a fireworks show for under $5 a car. That would help us. He had wanted us to give that to him if we partnered. So I'm not certain what the best thing to do is.
I would also
Actually-
add that a lot of the fundraising last year came from meet and greet,
Yes, it did.
which I don't know how much fundraising that's going to happen.
Can I interject here?
Sure.
I would feel a whole lot more comfortable if this was the Chamber of Commerce's show and they send us a budget. I don't think we should be getting involved in running the advertising or
We're not.
securing the fireworks.
We're not doing that.
Finish. Whether it's the advertising, the booking of the fireworks and doing all of that, I would feel more comfortable with them just saying, this is what it's going to cost us this year, and we would like to have Crewe, donate to the cause, where we can just, and I'm willing to do that. We might catch some grief about it, but every event that we do, anything that we get involved in, there's going to be a cost involved with it. And this thing was awesome last year, and I
Yeah.
want to see it again, but who's got time to get involved in?
So
I agree with you, but
we're not getting. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brenda.
no, it's okay. It's what he's asking us for is between $5,000 and $7,000 to book the guy for the fireworks, and that has to be done sooner than later.
And that would be our only cost. But then we
Yes.
would not receive any. I guess unless they raise more than their share.
Yeah. Now I had told him that we would like to keep the parking money, but we don't have to. We don't have to. And he brought up a good point. I mean, with John being sick, I don't know that he's going to be able to partner with us like he did last year. And that's another $5,000 that's out there.
And then the one question that I had that I haven't heard back on yet is the wording on this. It says that the Chamber's committed to hosting, provided can at least break even financially. Cover the funding. Option 1 says cover the funding gap. An additional $6,000 must be raised through sponsorships, engaging local businesses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What happens if that funding isn't raised? Do they cancel the event, or so? I do want to learn a little bit more about that contingency.
Well, I asked because we had the meeting and we talked, and then I got another phone call and he said, well, maybe Crewe will be the only fireworks, which raised a flag for me a little bit. So, but he has already bought the ad in the Courier because they had a deal, half price, so he went ahead and bought that to save money. But, some of the things here, I think, are a little bit high, like the porta-johns. I mean,
See, that's-
$1,000 is
that's
a lot of
why
money.
I don't want to get involved from
Right, yeah,
that
no, that's a-
perspective. I want to talk with them as the Blackstone Chamber of Commerce and they say this is how much it's going to cost us to put it on, and then we discuss how much the town of Crewe is willing to kick into that
Well, that's
so
what
we
he
can
said.
put on the event. I don't care what the fire marshals
Okay.
cost or the porta-johns cost, even though for a note, we got the porta-johns for them last year.
And that's why it was so high, because it was the last minute.
and we
So I
also
think
got-
that
Exactly.
is the-
We also rented the light systems that were out there.
Well, the bottom line is he needs between $5,000 and $7,000 from the town committed to book the fireworks guy. That's the bottom line.
So the-
And then will he need more money
No,
after that?
he said not,
Okay.
but
So to clarify, we vote to approve, let's go in the middle, 6,000. Because I really want this
he
event
was
to go
okay
on.
with that.
So if we did 6,000, they're responsible for the rest of this.
That's
And
what-
then if they don't put the event on, somebody cuts us a check back for the 6,000. So all of those extemporaneous costs and things that you're concerned about,
Are
if it
theirs.
doesn't happen, then what are they gonna do about the 6,000 of ours that they use to pay for fireworks that now they're not having a fireworks? Are we gonna turn around then and pony up another 10,000 to make
I
sure
would-
that it comes off?
I would think if we can get something in writing that,
Right,
that
that
we're
and
going to
for-
give that, and if it doesn't happen, then we need to be refunded that.
You and I talked at length after the last one about things and how how about putting a little bit more of your thinking into this? And this doesn't feel comfortable to me.
Right.
And
Which is why-
and if it's more conversation between you and Mr. Page about what's really going on in the background, why might this be the only fireworks? If this is going to be the only fireworks in Nottaway County, well, that changes things significantly.
That might have been a daily comment with a little bit of struggle.
All unknown. You're asking us to make an investment. I'd like to see a business plan with a few more specifics where we can feel comfortable going, yep, if we agree to spend $7,000 to host this event, that is going to be an event, and that's all that we're going to be responsible for.
Right. And then if there is no event after we give them the money, they'll give us the so I can draft up an agreement and potentially work with Eric on that agreement. Jim, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I would just couch it as a grant agreement, which the town council is authorized to make grants to nonprofits, which the chamber is. Just call it a grant agreement for this civic event, and prepare a draft if you like, and I can work with you on that.
I would assume that the fireworks professionals have some sort of cancellation some sort of policy as far as if it were canceled. We would need to know what that is.
Yes, we did not discuss that, but he was very strong about if we did not reserve it, we were going to lose the dates.
Completely get it. But now we're not talking about, the Chamber of Commerce hosting
I
a
know.
event in Crewe and we being friendly and sending our police officers and Nottaway County sending their staff and,
Yeah.
all these ancillary things that we did out there. Now we're talking more about a partnership. And if we're going to do a partnership, one, I want to make sure that the event is going to happen.
I agree with you.
And two, that we're very specific about what the towns, I know the chamber's trying to make money off of it, and I get that, they have expenses. But, we're not in the habit of giving things away for free either, so I just want to make sure we don't get hosed in this.
Sure. So I guess what I would need tonight, if council wants to move forward, is a motion to allow the town manager to negotiate and enter into an agreement with the Blackstone Chamber for no more than $6,000 grant, and I can also run things through the finance committee if.
Would you like to give them the fee for the parking to go along with that?
Well, if this is just a grant, then, yeah, I mean, that's a, unless,
I think that all of those things are kind of part of the discussion.
Okay.
I think you, on behalf of the town, need to be working with the head of the Blackstone Chamber of Commerce to see what it's gonna take to put this event on. And I am absolutely in favor of authorizing you up to $6,000 to enter into this agreement. I'd like for Eric to see the agreement, make sure that from a liability standpoint, all the things that go along, are they getting the insurance for that cost too? You know, it's gotta be insurance for these things, you know.
Yeah.
Who's gonna, are they gonna, I don't mind them making money, cause he's gonna do a lot of the legwork, you know.
Yeah.
Or we turn it into a town event, and we just have a town event.
which then we have to get
And
into all
then
the
we pay,
That's right,
yeah,
but,
plus we pay a lot more money.
well, but we get it all.
Okay,
That's true.
okay, so, I'm sorry, you can ask
No,
for a
you're
motion
okay.
So,
You're
is there a
okay.
motion on the floor to allow the town manager to negotiate with the,
Discussion.
oh, I'm sorry, well, motion first, then discussion. Motion to allow the town manager to negotiate and enter into a contract for up to $6,000 for the fireworks.
I move.
Is there a second?
A second.
I'll ask for discussion.
Any discussion?
Do you
I
wanna
think Eric
include
has
that
discussion.
allocation of funds for the purpose, and then, it can be approved subject to the approval of the town manager. The agreement can be approved subject to the, satisfaction of the town manager and the town attorney.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So the authorization would be to authorize the town manager to enter into a grant agreement with the Chamber of Commerce up to $6,000 for the support of the July 4th fireworks event. Let's see, and appropriate funds for that,
Too
and
early.
appropriate funds for that purpose, subject to the satisfaction of the town manager and the town.
Perfect.
Somebody's listening, by the way.
Is there is that, who made the motion?
I made the motion.
Robin did.
Is that a friendly amendment?
Yes,
Perfect.
yes.
And
that's
second?
right.
Perfect. I like that. You
Yeah.
got all that, Tiffany?
Okay,
Absolutely.
so all in favor? Aye.
She's making a grocery list.
Opposed? Motion carries on that.
Put eggs on your list. Can't afford those.
But I have a question.
It's either eggs or Mexico.
Are we going to wait and look at that and vote on it at the March meeting, or are we
So
going to
you-
do that prior?
So we'll be working with Chris on coming to an agreement prior, and the council just authorized me to sign. the
Yeah.
agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
That's fine.
all righty. So you're done with that. Let's move on to unfinished business. 12A, EDA appointment.
Any word on that, Sean? The EDA
No,
appointment?
I
Okay.
haven't heard back from him.
Okay.
Okay.
I would suggest that if he was interested, that we would have heard something, so.
Okay, so I would ask council then, like the planning commission appointment, if you could think of 2 people to serve on the EDA and talk to them. With the EDA, they do not have to live in town; they just have to live somewhere within Nottaway County. Which is so anyone who would do that, and of course they have to fill out the statement of economic interest form. So go ahead and talk to a few people, see if they'd be interested, send me names. And so at the next meeting, if council members can have those names, maybe a little bit before the meeting, have those names of people who have preliminarily agreed, and we can go from there.
We need 2 for the EDA?
Yes, one member decided their current business is a little bit more time consuming than other things.
Of the 6 that we have?
Correct.
Listed?
Yeah.
Another, okay.
Yes.
2 of them.
Good
Okay,
luck.
Okay.
so let's move on to informational items. 13A, water information.
I'll just run through these real quick.
Yeah, that would be good.
That's why they're information.
If the you have the state budget stuff related to water, and then an article about Prince Edward selling their data center. Good for them. 13B is the summer intern Advertisement, if you know of any college students who are interested in, college or grad students, who are interested in summer internship with the town, feel free to pass that to them. I'll be sending it to at least one or two colleges, universities. So if you wanted to go to, if you're
Wonder
interested,
which one that's going to be.
if you have any interest in interns not from Virginia Tech, feel free to send it to them. Item 13C is that editorial I mentioned. 13D is the budget calendar. And just going through the budget calendar real quick. March 1st, if you have any budget request for any request for inclusion in the budget, please send those to me by March 1st. That's when I'm going to have department heads and their requests due. March 18th, I'm going to meet with the Finance Committee, which is Sean and Ann. Okay, and we'll go over the first draft of the budget just to get some things worked out. March 25th. I'm sorry. I'll have the draft of then March 25th. The Finance Committee will meet. Council is going to be given a hopefully final but near final draft of the budget on April 14th. And then we'll discuss at the budget work session on April 22nd. So that's just the day I'll give it to you and just hold discussion for the work session. So April 22nd is the work session, which we discuss. May 12th, you'll be given the final budget. If we need another budget work session, we'll have that on the 27th. June 9th is the budget public hearing. Then we can vote on the budget. And then July 1st, the budget takes effect. And we are in the process of acquiring new budgeting software. Hopefully it'll be up and running here in the next month or two to help do that, or at least help create the budget book on which we submit for budget award and such. Questions on that? Nope. Okay.
Are you rolling still?
No,
Are you
I'm
going still?
done.
Okay, events. Town pancake supper every fourth Thursday. So we had an okay crowd. I mean,
First time, it's always gonna be slow. We had about 25 to 30 people at the last one.
Right, right.
Now it's at a set time, set date, the fourth Thursday of the month at
5
5
until 7.
and 5 to 7. Come out, enjoy, and tell all your friends to come out and enjoy as well. It's good food, and Mike's a huge part of that, providing some of the
Yes.
well, all of the labor. Profits go to Crew Cares.
Yes. All right, and Crewe Homecoming, May 17th.
Yep, that's coming up.
That is coming up. Like I said, it's moving forward. You know, our committee has met, well, we haven't all met together, but Robin and I met and did one thing, and Tabitha and I talked about the other. So, but we're going to have some meetings, and anybody that has any ideas or thoughts that they want to see, that would be good. Vice Mayor Stenson, are you still on board for the breakfast? You're not on the spot or anything, I'm just asking.
For what?
For homecoming, the
Oh,
breakfast.
yeah. Well,
Oh, yeah, and then well? What's that mean?
oh, yeah, I remember now.
Yeah.
And the Garden Club was the one that sponsored that, and we meet. Yeah, the date he's going to speak to us. And I'll need,
Remember
I
everything.
know, he remembers everything.
I'll need to talk to them about that and let
Okay.
you know.
And we had thought about, and I don't know, but I wanted to ask, because Robin and I had talked, I think all of us had talked about it. We used to have that tractor thing on Friday night for homecoming, and someone told me the man that used to organize that had passed away.
Yeah, Bobby Daniels.
So I had talked to Justin and Amelia, and I had talked to Trey Taylor, and I had talked to some people in the town that own tractors, and they were kind of on board with maybe a little tractor parade on Friday, maybe at 4 o'clock or so, and then just going over to the park, having a food vendor or two, and just letting people look at the tractors. And so I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Was James River, did you talk to James River?
Not yet,
Uh-huh.
but I am. But I just thought maybe 2 vendors, 2
Yeah.
foods, or 3 maybe, and even some kind of music might not be bad over there, some country music, tractor people. But is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Sean, what do you know about the tractor thing?
I have a tractor.
No, but you've lived in Crewe, you know pretty much everything that,
Do for Blackstone and supplied all the tractors, and he's not here anymore.
Yeah.
okay.
I'll let you ride on my tractor.
Oh my gosh, this is traveling down a path
I
I
think
don't
people
want to
would
go
pay
right
to
now.
see.
But, and I did have just a couple other event things related that I forgot to bring up, Mayor. The 25th, Senator Mulcahy is putting together an event regarding data centers, and I need one other individual to attend that. It'll be in South Boston. South Boston or South Hill?
That's
One
different.
of
There's a
That's
difference.
2 different,
South
totally
Boston
different.
is what I'm going to say.
That would make sense based on where she's at.
Right. So South Boston.
What date did you say?
The 25th. It can only be one other individual. It's regarding data centers. So if anyone is especially interested in knowing more or contributing to that conversation, let me know. And someone can volunteer tonight.
I know I'm obligated that day, so
Okay.
I can't.
What is it, say it again, what is this about?
Data centers.
Data centers.
And what does that mean to us? That's what I mean.
Data center's a big old
But I mean, like coming here, you mean the data,
Well, no, she's putting
Information.
together all the localities in order to have a discussion on the topic and to see where everyone is and see what issues can be resolved and that kind of thing. Does that make sense?
who is she?
Senator Mulcahy.
Senator Mulcahy.
Oh,
She is the successor to,
Well, she knows now. I don't think she could understand the name.
it's Frank Ruff's successor.
Yeah.
it's in South,
She's our state senator.
So is there one other person who wants to attend with me?
oh, you're going?
What's the date again?
The 25th,
Maybe.
Oh, when?
this month. This month?
What day is the 25th on?
It's a Tuesday.
Weekday, I know.
It's a Tuesday.
I can't commit now, but let me talk with the
Okay.
boss tomorrow and.
So between Sean and Robin?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll figure that out. And then I believe Sean, is the Board of Supervisors work session this Thursday?
It's
Where-
Thursday night.
It wouldn't surprise me if they didn't hold it this Thursday.
How's it, John?
I don't know.
Well, that and weather as well. But at least, the discussion on the courthouse. But if they do host it and the courthouse discussion is still on the agenda, if we can get as many of us out there attending as possible. I'm not sure if they're going to have time for public comment, but just being there and showing our support for the process. And again, talking points are basically what's outlined in that editorial. We love to have it in Crewe, but the most important thing is a fair, objective process.
Is it at 7 o'clock? Or,
Yes.
okay.
Okay,
Okay. Is that it for you?
that's it. I hope so.
Okay, announce some points of personal privilege. This is an opportunity for each member of council to provide announcements about personal or community happenings. I hopped right over public comments. Mike is staring me down with bullets. Public comments. Is there anyone who wishes to speak? You don't wish to speak? Okay. We'll move right on back to points of personal privilege. Does anyone have anything?
Well, Mike has reminded me, by just being here, the community garden plans are getting started, and in support of that, the Nottaway Extension Office is offering 4 classes at the library for beginner gardeners. Unfortunately, the first one was supposed to be tomorrow at 4 o'clock, and I'm guessing nobody's going to come out in the snow to learn about gardening. But there will be 4 of them, and there are 3
Mike's
of
going
us.
to be there. He's got his hand raised.
Well, snow is good for the garden, yes, but, so stay tuned. But yes, tomorrow was supposed to be the first one, and they are on Tuesdays from 4 to 5:30, and you register through the extension office.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything? Events, happenings? No one? Okay. Is there need to go into closed?
What little update we can at this point.
Okay. Is there a motion to close and adjourn? Yeah, that word.
Move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Meeting adjourned.
Then there's a thing at the courthouse at now. For John Boy.
Thank you for fixing it.
You're welcome.
He kind of